What it do? Welcome to the Common Fan from the Bullpen. This is something new that we're doing. I am your host, Austin Dunston, the original Common Fan, but I'm here today with my friends Braxton Teal, Colton Teal, and Nathan Massey. This is kind of a new thing we're getting into. We usually do the Common Fan, which is just, live on the air from Cookeville. Right. But we have built this beautiful set, including my lava lamp. His name is Henry. What do y'all think about Henry?
Just had to get the shout out.
I had to get the shout out in early. But if you're not already, follow us on Twitter at the Common Fan, Instagram, the Common Fan Official, and we're gonna make a YouTube channel. This is where this will be, and it will also be the Common Fan Official. So give those all a follow, subscribe, like. Never done this before. I think that's what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah.
So now we're gonna go ahead and get into who we are. Like I said, I'm Austin Dunston. You might already know me from my radio show back in Cookeville. But if not, I go to Tennessee Tech University. I'm about to be a senior. This is what I like to do. I love sports. I love to hang out with my friends. And so that's why we kind of made this, the Common Fan from the Bullpen. We're trying to get a mic'd up version of just a conversation that you'd like to have, like with your friends, if that makes sense. And I feel like I've gone on long enough, so I'm going to let you guys get into it. So, Braxton, you want to go ahead, say whatever you got to say?
Yeah, so kind of like you said, we're looking for a candid conversation, something you would see in a locker room after a game or,
right.
Just something we would normally do hanging out on this couch as we've done 1,000 times. I'm Braxton Teal. I am known all these guys since forever, honestly.
For as long as I can remember.
Since I was born, I believe.
Since you were born.
Yeah, they're brothers if you didn't get it by the last name.
But I'm a little bit older than these guys, but we've hung out since, Colton and our house has always been the house that people come over to, especially for his friend group. So I've kind of always been in the shadows and hanging out with these guys for years and years and years. And the whole bullpen idea, I think I was the one that suggested it. Y'all were working out in here, and y'all came in, and I was like, why don't we set up a podcast studio or something like that just to give y'all something to do?
It's funny that you said that because real quick, like I've always wanted to do it like video.
Right.
Like we have it, but I've never had that push, like somebody else say, yeah, let's do it. And then when Braxton came in, it was like, let's set it up. It kind of all just happened.
And it was honestly just an idea that I saw. So we had the existing black backdrop back here.
Right.
And that was it. And nothing else that you see kind of existed. We drug in random pieces from honestly everywhere. Facebook Marketplace to abandoned trailers on our property, just random knickknacks to make it what it is today.
Yeah, for sure. But Colton, why don't you go ahead and say some things?
Yeah, they covered it pretty well. Everything comes from either out of something random we own for some reason, which is a lot of stuff for some reason, and a lot of it comes from Facebook, like Braxton said, like our ESPN sign over here.
Yes,
great.
Drove to Dixon County at 9:30. Dixon County.
That's right. I'm sure you were in Dixon County.
Dude, I don't know where we. It was.
We were lost. That's what
we were absolutely lost. We went to somebody's creepy old driveway, super old house, and there were no street lights, and we were all just like, wait, this is not right. And then we ended up being okay. We got that beautiful sign right there. But sorry, didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead.
Oh, no, you're good. We've basically covered it all as to how we got everything.
I'm going to go ahead and put this out here. This whole set was not my idea. I had the idea that I got all this equipment. I was like, hey, guys, I do a podcast, the Common Fan, and let's record one when all my stuff comes in. But then these guys, all of them stepped up and were like, hey, no, let's do something a little different. Let's take a different approach. Let's record it, and let's see where it goes. So that's kind of where we're at right now. And I appreciate you guys for helping me all throughout the way. You too, Teal.
Start to finish, 5 days?
Yeah,
started Sunday, and now it's Friday.
Yeah, it started Sunday and Friday. All this done. And it wouldn't be possible if the Teals household didn't have one of everything in the entire world. I'm not even joking when I say everything you see here, aside from Henry, the lava lamp, obviously, Edgar, the eagle, and those are the only two things we have named. We just did them back to back. Everything was here, literally, just somewhere on this beautiful property they have. We went out and we scoured through the semis, like he said, and it was all here. So it wouldn't have been possible without this place. Massey, you can go ahead and say whatever you want to say, buddy.
All right, so as Dunston, he introduced me. I'm Nathan Massey. Like they said, been friends with these guys for years now. I was the last addition to this crew as we became close in high school. But like they said, you got as close as possible. And this was something I was really excited to do because this is what I'm in school for. So it was an opportunity for me to learn and grow with friends instead of being like, I guess, actually on a job and have the pressure of an internship or some type of deal like that. So thankful for these guys, thankful for the Teals and the Dunstons and everybody else that helped out, set this up. And like they said, we came together and went from an idea to reality in less than a week. So that was pretty cool to watch and be a part of and watch it all transform right here. And just big shout out to the Teals and the Dunstons, like I said. So thank y'all for that. Thank y'all for letting me on.
Yeah, so basically that's who we are. This podcast is going to kind of be like a lot of sports, obviously, because we all love sports here.
Right.
And if you listen to my podcast before this, it was all sports. But we're going to go into deep dives into random things, I'm sure. We're going to have a little segment. I don't know if we're going to do it today, but called Show and Tell.
Exactly.
We'll explain that when we get there. And then we're going to have a lot of different things added throughout time. So we have a lot of ideas, but we really just wanted to get something out there, first of all. But it will be evolving with time, and it won't just be a sit-down talk podcast. We're going to have some activities that will be pretty interesting. I don't want to mention anything too soon, but we have some things that I hate when people do that too. I hate when people go, oh, I've got something, but I can't tell you yet. But we do. We have something cool, and I think it'll only get cooler as we become more comfortable and kind of figure out the dynamic of this show.
Yeah.
But so I have a question for you guys, though. So what was the weirdest part about putting up this set? I know I have one, and as somebody else talks, I'm going to bring it into frame. But what was your favorite part, weirdest part, or go ahead, about building this thing?
Okay, I'll start. The things you find in antique stores, most of them shouldn't exist. Like humanity, the things they bring about, just super weird. Like,
for sure.
You look at some things and you're like, why do people need this?
Yeah, like we went into this one store called Treasure Village.
Was it Treasure Village?
I think so. It was called Treasure
store.
Village. It was not, I mean, it was beautiful, but it was like cram-packed full of just random stuff.
Treasure Village.
Yeah, you should go there actually sometime.
The name is
I know
very Columbia once you start walking through it.
What's our slogan? What's the end of our Twitter bio?
Always real.
Always real, always raw.
Always real. Treasure Village sounds like it would be an adult store.
Actually, yeah, it kind of does. It kind of gave off a weird vibe too while we were in there. They had, oh my gosh, they had this one room in there that was like, it was called the 50-cent dig, and everything in there was 50 cents. That's where we found that Conor McGregor and Cowboy Cerrone poster. Beside the point. But you go in there and you dig through all this literal just stuff, and whatever you can find, it's 50 cents. And there were these two ladies in there. I'm not gonna go into it, but oh my gosh! Like at one point, we were just like, we're gonna wait a little bit before we have to go in there. But yeah, definitely antiquing. That was the hardest part, but it was also very weird. What about you, Master? You got anything?
I wouldn't necessarily say like the weirdest, but one of like the funniest moments was coming back from one of the antiquing trips that we were talking about, and we've been going, I mean, we drove all over town, been to different places, you name it, all sorts of antique stores, just thrift stores, just anything of that nature. And for a good 4.5 hours, I would say. And we managed to come back with a lava lamp from Walmart.
The lava lamp. Come on now. Don't disrespect.
The comedy and the irony of going out and being like, oh, hey, we're going to go get this, and we're going to go find this, and let's look for something of this nature. And we bought a lava lamp from Walmart, and we were very, very proud of it. Maybe a little bit more than we should have been, but
whoa!
Hopefully,
we gave it.
No, you were.
Dude, I love this thing. It's amazing. I'm worried it's gonna like explode because it's super hot right now. By the way,
Is it?
It's so hot. Feel it. Okay. Isn't that crazy? But anyway,
can we talk about its hat real quick?
No, don't touch his hat. He gets self-conscious. No, stop. Oh my god! Now he's exposed.
Okay, that's
Can we
hot,
even
too.
put this on YouTube now? We have an exposed lava lamp. It'll be okay. We're edgy.
Yeah.
What about
Always
you,
raw.
Brax? Always raw. What about you, Brax? What was your weirdest?
I mean, can I start the story or no?
Yeah, you
The
can
story?
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to bring it in. I think I might put it in after, but
Come on.
start the story. Go
All right,
ahead.
so
Do you want us to bring it into?
We could get our assistant Autumn.
Yeah,
bring it
we'll have
No?
Autumn. Autumn says,
bring it in.
boo.
no.
Real quick, we're going to take a quick break, and then we'll be right back with this intense story of the weirdest thing that we have done. What's up? It's Austin Dunston, host of The Common Fan. I just want to thank you all for listening and tuning into this video. While you're here, why don't you go ahead and give us a follow on Twitter at The Common Fan, on Instagram at The Common Fan Official, and go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel, The Common Fan Official. Leave a like on this video. Thank you all for listening, and we're going to get back to it.
Dak Prescott.
Dak Prescott sucks. He's terrible. He just turned down a 5-year deal, $175 million. Highest paid quarterback ever, and turned it down. Who does he think he is? Awful. No, he's not worth that.
Like, I'm biased because I know we have a Dak fan in the room.
Yeah, I'm also saying that a lot because Massey
Is in the room.
loves Dak Prescott. Not as much as Matt, though.
No.
Our friend Matt, who maybe he'll be on someday, but no, not going to happen. Could happen.
I forbid.
Loves Dak Prescott, but I'm biased against him.
But I don't understand. I don't. Okay, there was some stipulation of what he wanted, right?
I can bring some light
Yeah,
to
go
this,
ahead
I
and
believe.
tell us the
Okay,
whole
yeah,
deal
let's get it.
because
Yeah.
it sounds ridiculous that he turned down.
Yeah, because when you
being
read
the
that
highest paid
tagline,
ever.
there's no excuse for that.
Yeah.
in my opinion.
Okay, so I will go on record. I don't think that he deserves $175 million.
He doesn't.
I am a Dak fan. I do like Dak. I'm a Mississippi State guy.
There we go.
Yeah.
So I don't, but I genuinely don't think like $175 million. That's just too much. Like he hasn't done enough. He hasn't won enough. Now, if he starts winning more and gets some accolades to his name, that happens. That's what happens when you do that kind of stuff. So
Right.
then you start talking up in the money. But apparently, the reasoning behind the rejection of the offer that was presented to him was there's a stat somewhere that I saw that you had Aaron Rodgers, I believe, was the highest paid quarterback 5 years ago, and his contract was worth $15 million. And then with all of the new cap space and everything like that they do every so often, Russell Wilson was the next 5 years later they redid the stats and everything, and he was the highest paid, and he's being paid $22 million a year. So what Dak and his agent are pushing for is they want to inload the deal heavily based on the new cap projections of what they think that it will be. So what they're trying to do is pretty much drive the price up so far that the Cowboys will go with what Dak wants in a 4-year deal instead of 5-year. So maybe he doesn't think he's worth that much money, but if he's going to get paid, he wants to make it appropriate for the timing so that when that new cap hits, because we see this happen all the time, you're like, oh, they signed for so much money, and then 3 or 4 years down the road, instead of being the highest paid, they're now like the 8th highest paid.
Right.
And again, I understand that we don't know how the future plays out, so Dak may not win anything, but if he does, then he believes that he's going to be worth that amount of money in that 5th year. So that's where the big hit comes in, as I think that he wants somewhere close to $45 million.
He said north of 45
North
million.
of 45,
million.
the 5th
Yeah.
year.
North.
45
So
more.
that is their way of driving the year back, or the deal back 1 year.
Right.
So I think that once the Cowboys sign him for a 4-year, or if they end up signing him for a 4-year deal, we will ultimately see the price drop a little bit at least. I'm not obviously not his agent or anything, so I'm not going to speak on what they actually want. But according to all the reports and what we've all kind of heard here and there, it's strictly based off that 5th year, that he wants the Cowboys to pay what he thinks he's worth in that 5th year if he signs for the 5th year.
Right.
Okay, but you said the two things about the quarterbacks basically resetting the market, Aaron Rodgers and Russell Wilson.
Russell Wilson.
Right.
Okay, but those are consensus top 5 quarterbacks in the league. Dak's a consensus mediocre quarterback in the league right
At
now.
best.
Yeah, no, I agree, and I'm not saying
can't-
that he deserved. Like I said, he doesn't
Right.
deserve that. So it's
No,
like
he doesn't deserve
But
it.
but if you were playing in the NFL, and let's be honest, the Cowboys, they're America's team. You're the face of one of the most popular franchises. I'm not 100% on what they're thinking, but it may be more than just his on-field play. They're like, look, he's going to be he's a respected guy. Nobody can argue that. He doesn't have any bad past. Sure. He's good with all that. So it may be him trying to get more for the respect off the field as well.
But if his respected guys got paid, Marcus Mariota would still be in Tennessee.
But here's my take, right? So everyone sitting here, everyone on the couch, Austin as well, we were all athletes, right? When you're on the field, when you're a competitor, you think you are the best person in the league. Even though if your stats reveal it or not, you think you have the capability to be the best player on the field, the best player anywhere, right? So it's not as much what he thinks he wants to me as it is what the Cowboys have already thrown out. Like, yes, I see him wanting this massive figure because he believes in himself, but the Cowboys have already offered a figure that I would have never imagined, ever.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, especially with the best backup in the league in Andy Dalton. Like, you can't take a starter that has consistently gone to the playoffs for a long period of time and then put him behind Dak, and you can't say he's not worried about that because you're going to reject an offer like that with a backup quarterback. You could find yourself getting traded. You could find yourself on another team next season.
Right.
I mean, maybe that's what he wants. Maybe he wants to play on another team. But also, like, how are you going to reject that sum of money? How is an agent going to let you reject that sum of money? Like, if you want to reset the quarterback market, be the best quarterback in the league.
Yeah, and I get you. You know, you want to set yourself up for future success. I mean, ultimately, you're playing the most violent sport there is, right? So you want that money long term. But at the end of the day, the Andy Dalton point to me is great because, I mean, he is now the best backup in the league.
Yeah.
So
that's the thing, though. But, like, we're all talking about how is he worth that great sum of money, all that jazz. He got the offer.
Yeah.
No.
And, okay, we all agree. I don't know. Massey's kind of
I don't agree he's worth what he's asking for at the moment.
Right.
If they drop down to a fourth year, I'll see depending on what that number turns out to be, but continue.
The craziest part about it all is that he got this offer, like the biggest ever, and still said no.
Yeah, that's resetting the quarterback market.
That is insane to me.
We're not even a top 10 quarterback.
Not even.
But you're saying, okay, the reason why I'm not going to accept is I want to reset the quarterback market. Well, you will be resetting the quarterback market with what you're about to do, but you're just being stupid right now. Like, there's no reason behind that in my mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we can also bring up the point of that I'm not making the comparison between Dak and Mahomes. But Mahomes, his contract runs out this year. It will be reset next year. Yeah, so no matter what Dak makes this year, and the biggest, obviously, the debate is over if he's worth it. Nobody's going to debate what Patrick Mahomes is worth. I'm not even going to make that debate. No. But it will be reset again next year, and I think that's kind of the point that him and his agent are making, or that he's going to sign this huge, massive contract. Nobody knows if he's good enough or not yet. He hadn't proven himself enough yet. He's still young, but it's literally going to be reset next year, which is part of their reasoning of if you're going to, like, when that new cap space comes out, like the numbers that they give out on that I guess every 5 to 10 years, something like that, so that when that does come through, he still wants a respectable amount of money, because I think that they believe that at that point, the $45 million, it's a very high number, but it won't be as high compared to what people are making at that point. That's like kind of what you saw in the MLB the past couple of years, like with Harper and Trout and all those guys, and you saw guys like signed before them. They're like, oh, these guys are making tons of money, and then you see like Trout and Harper of what they're making. And again, I'm not saying Dak's on a comparable level with some of those guys, maybe more Bryce Harper with his years recently than
but
Trout.
Bryce Harper is what Bryce Harper is. He's not, I mean, obviously he's not been consistent, but he's also a year in and year out all-star. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Like every single year.
I have a legitimate question. This might be a stupid question. So is Dak technically a free agent right now? Or is he still under contract with the Cowboys?
He's under the same thing that Derrick Henry's under. So
they franchise tagged him, correct?
Yes.
Right.
Okay, so why not just wait and try to negotiate this contract after it's been reset?
He wants his. I think he wants his money guaranteed. Kind of what Brax was saying earlier is that if he's playing on that which is the same thing Henry may have to deal with if Henry goes out there next year and he doesn't rush for what he did this year, or if he goes out there and breaks his leg, God forbid that ever happened to any player, our team or not, then you don't.
Good call.
You don't want that. You don't want to be on a franchise tag when that happens, because then you may end up in like a Jadeveon Clowney situation where you're a very respected player, but your number of what you actually talent-wise are worth compared to all of the negatives that come against you, you could end up in that boat way faster than you realize. And I think that's he's trying to set himself up to, like he said, protect his family, protect himself, protect his loved ones of, I signed this deal and I may be hurt and never be the same again, but we may not get the max amount of money from that offer, but money is still going to be rolling in, because obviously we saw what happened with Alex Smith, obviously a way longer career at this point in time, but he's realistically effectively done as a meaningful quarterback as far as we know. Hopefully, and prayers up to him that he comes back and is able to make a comeback, because he's pushing hard to do it. But that can happen to Dak next year. And if he's making even the franchise tag, even if that's what, 20-something million, I think is what I heard when we were talking about when the Tannehill discussions were up.
I don't remember.
It was up there, a good, like close, I'd say 20 something.
Oh, it's a high number.
Yeah, it's up there. So like that's not disrespecting that number, because that's still high.
Yeah.
But he wants to protect himself from having only that 1 year and then potentially being done or not being as respected, or if he has a crap year this year and is actually consistently bad the entire season through and through, maybe gets benched, then he's out of all sorts of money. But right now he's playing his hand of, I've played well enough to be re-signed, to make a good amount of money.
Debatably.
Yeah.
He's better.
Is he?
But he's not what he.
The thing
not
about
what
it
he's
is,
asking for.
So it was
No, not at
5 years, 175 million, right?
Right.
Yeah,
How much is that a year? I can't do math.
I have a phone.
Do a phone.
Do you?
Yeah. So what do
we
we
go.
say? 5 years, 175.
Yes.
So 175 million divided by 5, that's 35 million a year.
I feel like that's plenty to protect his family, protect him.
No, I agree.
Yes.
At all costs.
He could be a practice squad player and protect his family.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So like, I don't know. I think it's a whole dumb situation. If I'm Jerry Jones, I'm cutting him right now, signing Cam Newton, let them battle it out for the.
Hot take.
Do what?
Hot take.
You don't think? You think so?
Oh, yeah. No,
I mean,
I agree.
Yeah, I'm letting Andy Dalton, Cam Newton battle out for way less than $45 million a year.
Oh, yeah,
Absolutely.
for sure.
It's not worth it. If it was Pat Mahomes, okay,
Yeah, I don't think
we're gonna
anybody will
work that
disagree
out.
with
that. Yeah.
But it's the principle of it to me. I couldn't. I mean, I'm not Jerry Jones, obviously.
Yeah.
And I don't know what's going on in Dak's head, but it would not be. It is not worth the trouble from my perspective.
Yeah.
I would sign somebody else.
Yeah.
Let them have at it.
What have you got?
I love that.
The past couple years, like this year, you got an 8-8 team with a great running back, great offensive line, great wide receivers, good defense, solid linebacking core. What are you gonna say about that?
Yeah.
You went 8-8.
Yeah.
Like if you went 12-4, completely different.
Yeah, for sure. I
Well,
agree.
they're a 12-4 roster.
Yeah,
Oh,
they are.
easily.
They've always been a 12-4.
Let's
roster.
not. But let's not put this all on Dak. Like
Oh,
I fully
no.
understand, but I feel like that's kind of where that was trending, or at least how it was
But
sounding.
you have to put it on the quarterback. Like
Yeah.
we can't just say the Titans were 2-4
With
because-
Mariota.
Yeah, I mean it's on Mariota, but obviously it's on play calling and stuff like that too.
I think the new coaching, and I'm not saying that like with Mike McCarthy coming in, he'll just be the answer. But I think he is worlds better than what Jason Garrett was at
That's
where
true.
he was. So I think that like if he gets a new coach in there, and then next year we pop up and the Cowboys are 12-4, and obviously they've improved the roster with their picks and maybe some signings. But like if they turn out 12-4 next year, and Dak has an incredible season with better play calling and better things, then this could be a completely different conversation. And I know at this point, like turning down these offers, he'll have to prove a lot to a lot of people, not just the ones in this room. But
Sure.
I think he could be worth a good amount of money if the play is there and if the play calls for him to make plays. To be there. I think that's a huge
and
part
I
of it.
agree. But like even if he goes 12-4 next season, he's still not worth $45 million a year.
Well,
I mean, if he
and
wins
it's
a
also
Super
it's
Bowl
not.
next season. He's not worth $45
See,
million
that's
a year.
you know what's
But it's not a year.
You know
It's
what's
just the
wild,
last year.
though? This is like the same conversation. Okay, Mariota was never asking for $45 million.
No, never.
But this is like the same conversation we were having about Mariota before the seasons. We were like, well, if he goes 16-0 and wins the Super Bowl, is that enough for us to extend him and sign him to a big-time contract? You know what I mean? Because he's been so inconsistent in the years past, Mariota, that is. And if he were to would it be like, oh, he just had a fluke, or would he just like really have turned his career around? It's the same boat, except for I feel like Mariota would have accepted that deal. But as Titans fans, we would have been like pissed. We would have been like, there's no way we should have offered him that much money. I don't know. I'm just making a comparison that's not really there, but it's just this exact same conversation we had about Mariota when we're going to this option year.
If you offer someone that much money, you have an anchor in your salary cap for the next 5 years. Yeah. If that doesn't pan out, then what do you do? Try to trade him? Nobody's going to take the contract.
Even if you cut him, you have so much dead cap.
Exactly.
That, like, you can't do anything. Like, you want another big signing, you can't do it.
And that swings back to, if we're talking about Pat Mahomes, sure. But if this is a questionable quarterback, how do you offer him that much money? You know, with the new coaching staff, things like that, he may have an undefeated season. He may win the Super Bowl. He may have one of the best statistical years ever.
He won't.
But if he doesn't... what do you do?
Yeah, you're in a bad spot. And that's what I'm saying. Like, I agree. I will say it again. I don't think he's worth that much. Right. I think he's worth a respectable amount, maybe closer to a Tannehill amount, because as much as we love Tannehill and we're all Titans fans, we all know, Tannehill did get paid a lot for success in the last half of a season plus playoffs, which, yes, he succeeded in playoffs. Yeah. But let's not act like Tannehill was the only reason we made it or the only reason that we got. Like, he was a huge piece. We would not have been there with the way the season was going with Marcus. I agree with all of that. But I think he could be more of a Tannehill type number than a Tom Brady at a young age type number or a Patrick Mahomes type number.
The number you're talking about far exceeds the number that Tannehill just got.
No, that's not what I'm saying. But he would. I think at this point, with a little bit more success, but honestly, in my opinion, even at this point, he would be closer to being re-signed for a Tannehill amount.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to take a really quick break. We're sorry we got off on kind of a tangent about Dak Prescott, but when we come back, we're going to actually tell you the story about Colton and our adventure to try to find the weirdest thing that we could come up with for the Bullpen. Welcome back. We don't really know what that break is going to be, but it'll be something. So I hope you enjoyed it, whatever it was. We're going to go ahead and explain the story of the extremely large cardboard cutout that you see over there behind Massey.
Let's not even describe it. It's 7 foot tall.
It's literally 7 foot by 4 foot tall. It is gigantic. I don't know if it'll do it justice, but it's not standing on anything. It's actually leaning back on that. So
you can see half of it right now.
Yeah, it's insane. But let's go ahead and explain what happened. Brax, you want to go ahead?
So throughout this process, you know, we've been here, we've drugged things that we have in, but there was always empty spaces in our backdrop, basically. And we wanted to fill these spaces, and we had a couple ideas in mind. Like, we had neon sign, first and foremost. That was like the first thing we hunted down. I found one on Facebook Marketplace, sent these guys out after it. They left 5 minutes after I found it, and they bought it. It was great. It's perfect.
It's beautiful.
No free shout-outs, but you can see it behind me. And then second thing, we had a space over here, and we were first thinking cardboard cutout. So go back on Facebook Marketplace, and then there are no cardboard cutouts in Spring Hill or Columbia.
There were some.
No, there was one.
Yeah, there was one.
Okay?
Yeah.
And it was free. I wonder why.
Literally, she was like, we were throwing it out Thursday in the trash.
Right. Yeah. It literally said in the Facebook description, come pick it up if you want it. If not, we're throwing it away on Thursday. And at that point, I messaged her because Colton was die hard, had to have it. So, and then I didn't go on the ride, so I'm going to let somebody turn over because the rest is where it gets
I'll
good.
go ahead and explain the ride over there. So me and Colton pile into his Frontier, and it's like, how long was the drive?
It was a 15-minute drive.
15-minute drive from where we are right now. So we pile into this thing, and we're like, oh, gosh, is it going to fit? And then I think we got a text from Braxton. It was like, it folds for when you want to move it. And so we were like, okay, cool. So we go all the way to the north side of Spring Hill in Williamson County, and we get there, and we pull up on the curb, and I'm like, I'm not getting out of the car, dude. it's not happening. I'm staying in the car. So Colton's like, well, I'll go get it. I was like, okay, we'll go get it. So Colton gets almost to the door, about to ring the doorbell, and he steps back. Keep in mind, he's about from me to Braxton to the door. Steps back and he goes, hey, Dunston! Hey, get out of the car. I was like, oh, my God, are you serious? So I'm like, oh, God, I guess. I know they heard him because he screamed it. I was like, okay. So I get out of the car and I walk up there and I keep my head down and stuff. And Teal rings the door and this lady opens up. She's got toddlers and she doesn't really ask why we want this thing. But so she gives it to us and she's like, yeah, we're going to throw it out Thursday, blah, blah, blah. And Teal and her had a conversation. And we were almost done. But then Teal looks at her and just goes, I bet you hate to lose this thing, don't you? And this lady just looks at him, looks away, and just closes the door. I was like, we walked away and started dying. I was like, Teal, why did you ask her if she hated to get rid of this thing like it was a treasure? So if you want to go ahead and explain why you wanted this so bad.
Okay, first of all, I feel like this whole thing is an attack on me.
Dude, it's hilarious.
On my personality,
I'm sorry.
I'm not going to accept it. Second off, we were looking on Facebook, and we're like, oh, my God, cardboard cutouts are $70?
Yeah.
So when you get the chance to get a gem like this, and it's free, then you take it.
Did you just say gem?
Gem. Gem.
Maybe one that you'd find at Treasure Village.
No. It's going to be listed pretty high at Treasure Village.
Yeah, for sure, no doubt. But why'd you ask the lady if she hated to get rid of it?
Because if it was me, I would hate to get rid of it.
Yeah.
Imagine that. Imagine handing that off to someone else. I couldn't.
At first, the funny thing is like we had it set up in this corner, and Teal went up to his house to like eat or whatever, and we were like, I don't think it's gonna stay. So like we took it out, and the first thing Teal said when he walked down here was like, where's the cardboard cutout? Why is it not on the set? But, yeah, so that was a pretty fun adventure that we didn't mean to go on. But I
meant to.
Yeah, Teal was all about it. He was, like, playing the Beauty and the Beast song and stuff, as we pulled off.
Yeah, because I was still here, and I hear you come down the driveway. I couldn't tell you the song from Beauty and the Beast.
It is called Beauty and the Beast.
Okay. Oh, there you go.
And then here comes a 7-foot cutout.
Yeah. Have any of you ever do you love Beauty and the Beast?
Never watched it.
Okay. Okay.
I mean, I've at least watched it.
Yeah.
Nope.
No.
Not even like the cartoon one.
No.
Yeah, we got here and I think Massey was the one that was like, "Oh my God, it's not even the cartoon version.
Yeah,
it's real people."
That was the most surprising part to me. Was like, this is the real life. Like, obviously, Beast was animated, but
Beast is Beast.
Beast is Beast. So it definitely. No, he looks good. He looks really good.
Yeah,
but it definitely caught me off guard that it was not the original cartoon production. It was the real life version.
Yeah, it was kind of a wild trip, but it was a lot easier than picking up that sign. I mean, like I said, that was just a miserable time. But
yeah, I don't think that there was a single item that we had to go and get that there's not a story attached to it to some degree. Some stories better than others.
But that's part of it, though. You know?
Yeah, like especially Edgar over there. Whenever we went to Treasure Village, I can't stop thinking about what you said every time. Yeah, so you've ruined that for me. I'll never go back.
I'm not real sure why you would, anyways.
Yeah, that's true. We got it all set up.
They did have a samurai sword that we were interested in.
Yeah, but it was $20.
No. Colton was interested in.
Hey, I thought it would be cool to have it. Like, imagine I just had a samurai sword right now.
See?
Yeah, that's why we don't need it. That's why we don't need it.
Yeah, I guess that's true. But anyway, the eagle, we bought it because we think it looks dumb. Like, why don't you hold it up for, like, the camera? If you're listening, you can't see it, but go look us up on YouTube, the Common Fan Official. That's Edgar the eagle. And we bought it because it kind of looks a little off. You know, it's obviously somebody just painted it in their house, was like, oh, yeah, it's nice, and then just threw it out. And so that's why we bought it. But we get to the cash register, and the lady's like, oh, wow, somebody did a really good job on this. And we were, like, trying to hold it together until we got out, because literally the only reason we bought it is because it looks not great. Oh, gosh. Thanks for the laugh, guys. I appreciate it. Literally, yeah, that was amazing right
there.
What's
your effects for?
Oh, yeah, hold on.
Here we go.
Wrong one.
Yeah, you caught it on the right.
There we go. I mean, it was supposed to be the laugh, but we'll take that. That's for Edgar.
Edgar.
Now we're going to move on to a segment that we call Show and Tell, and I'm going to kick it to Braxton for the first one ever.
All right, so show and tell. We kind of brainstormed this before we started the show, right? So we wanted to talk about deep dives. That was in our slogan, you know? We want to get into different news topics that's kind of out there and things like that. So me, this week, I've seen a couple different news outlets kind of pass this one around this week, and I wish we kind of tackled it first, but Chuck E. Cheese.
Ooh.
When's the last time you've been to Chuck E. Cheese?
Dude, forever ago.
That'd be like an 8-year-old party.
I loved Chuck E. Cheese.
I think you've had a birthday party.
I probably did.
When you were like 5 or 6.
And then I probably
Chuck E. Cheese,
immediately wanted to leave when I saw that band playing.
That is
all right,
so
stop there. So this is where we're going, okay? So obviously we all know we're in troubled times, right? COVID-19,
yeah.
You know, a lot of bad things are happening. But one industry that's kind of spiked up through all of this has been food delivery. Right?
Yeah.
We have a couple DoorDash drivers.
Shout out DoorDash
right here for us.
Please tip well and leave good ratings.
All right. So one thing that I found this week is that Chuck E. Cheese, and I'm not really sure if this is nationwide, but the restaurant chain has been operating under a different code name in DoorDash and these other delivery services. That way people actually order their food and have it brought to their house. Because me personally, I don't think I would ever order pizza from Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah. No one goes to Chuck E. Cheese for the pizza, bro. I went for the arcade games.
Right.
And I went to get that cool glow-in-the-dark stamp that proves that you're your parent's kid. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
That's why I went to Chuck E. Cheese.
What was the name of it?
Okay, so here we go. That's where it gets weird.
Yeah.
So they named it Pasquale's Pizza and Wings.
Pasquale's?
Who is Pasquale, you may ask?
Yeah, I have no idea. I have no idea.
Pasquale is the chef that's in the animatronic band that plays in Chuck E. Cheese.
Wait, like in the band?
The very creepy band.
Dude, that is terrifying to me.
Okay, so do you think people started noticing this pizza was from Chuck E. Cheese when they're like, oh, my pizza slices don't fit together?
Dude, that is terrifying, though.
Okay, so yes,
it's got to be the misfit pizza.
Have you heard of the conspiracy of Chuck E. Cheese pizza slices?
No. I was wondering what Teal meant by
have you heard of it?
I've heard it.
So basically the story goes...
I'm about to be thrown for a loop.
Well,
I mean, you're going to
No, because you haven't eaten there since 2002.
Yeah,
so
R.I.P.
I think you'll be okay.
Yeah.
But the theory is that Chuck E. Cheese, whether it be one restaurant or all restaurants, they take the collected uneaten pizza slices and form together a new pizza and then reserve that. So there's like a whole subreddit forum on how people have noticed that a lot of times like one crust will be longer than the other, or, you know, they may have random like sausage toppings that they didn't order.
Dude, no way.
And like random things like that.
And you can just scroll down Google and it's just straight pictures of misfit pizza.
You know what's kind of crazy, though? Like the fact that they had this like Pizzagate is what I'm going to call it.
Pizzagate.
The fact that they have, thank you. The fact that they have Pizzagate like proves that they're like a sketchy company.
Yes.
So it makes it more believable that this conspiracy theory is true.
Well, that's my thing. Obviously we're in troubled times. If you have to come up with a super sketchy name to stay afloat,
Pasquale's.
Also, how Italian does Pasquale sound? You're like, I want to order that place.
Right.
They're super Italian. They yell at each other through the dinner table.
Dude, that's
it's
so
also
insane
Pasquale's Pizza and Wings. Has anybody ever had wings at Chuck E. Cheese?
I haven't, but I also haven't eaten at Chuck E. Cheese since I was like 12.
Well, me either.
And I think when you're 12 at Chuck E. Cheese, you kind of go there for the pizza.
Let's go play skee ball when they open back up, okay?
I think we can go to...
Here's the thing, though.
But I won't eat the pizza.
I might
I'd
eat
say
the
we go to
pizza
Dave and Buster's and be a lot less creepy than a
it's
bunch
gotta
of
be Chuck E. Cheese.
20-year-olds playing at Chuck E. Cheese.
But the thing about Chuck E. Cheese is I don't think now you can go in without a kid. Like, I don't think you can just show up at Chuck E. Cheese.
Oh, I can find a kid.
So we have to rent.
Okay.
We have to rent a kid.
we can get a kid.
If you're on Craigslist, I can find a kid.
What are they gonna do if we just walk in like Wilson or someone? What are they gonna say?
Oh,
It's my kid.
this is a kid. He identifies as a little
It's a
boy.
goat.
Just
So-
a simple solution. I do have a 12-year-old brother, so like shout out Mac.
Okay,
if
there
he's
you
young
go.
He's
enough.
like 6.
That's
He's not
fair.
12. He's perfect.
He's definitely 12.
Perfect.
He's perfect.
Wow.
For this anyway.
Oh, okay. That's what you meant. I thought you just meant in general. I was
I know he's a great kid. Great kid.
He is a great. Shout out to Mac,
Yeah.
Monk Massey,
Monk
Right.
Massey.
the boy. But but no, I really don't. I don't think you can get in to Chuck E. Cheese without a kid. So if that plan
You
fails,
sure?
I'm not 100% sure, but
Dave
I
and
feel
Buster's,
like
here
this
we
is something
come.
that I
Yeah.
knew. But Dave and Buster, isn't there? Oh, there's one in Opry Mills.
Yeah.
There is.
Yeah.
Dude, we're gonna have
100%
to.
better.
We're gonna have to. We'll
100%.
go
Then we don't
live
get
on
the
our
pizza
Twitter
experience.
from Dave and
Go
Buster's.
live. We can do a show from Dave and Buster's.
Yeah,
Dude,
we're
that
gonna-
would be
We're gonna
sick.
periscope it.
Dude, it would. It's not a stretch to say though. I don't know. Maybe we'll get some sponsorships someday. We're not getting one from Chuck E. Cheese. That's out the window.
Not after this.
Not
Yeah,
after this.
we're done with that.
Maybe Pasquale's.
I was going to
though.
say Pasquale's
Wait,
may sponsor
They
us.
might be down.
Should I go ahead and write off another company?
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's what
Because
exactly
Chuck E.
what I-
Cheese wasn't the only company that made up a fake name to get their food delivered.
How is that even a
dun.
thing? Oh, that's okay. What? Who else?
Applebee's.
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 What?
Which it blows my mind because I feel like Applebee's is a somewhat reputable.
Dude,
Restaurant.
That's crazy that you think that because when I think of Applebee's, I'm
Well-
like, they all close down.
No.
They
That's
always.
That's true though, because
they always
every
go out of
Applebee's
business.
within 50 miles of here closed 10
Is
That
years
is
ago.
not true.
Gone.
There's one in Columbia.
There is one in Columbia because I adored
It's
that.
still
Columbia
exists.
doesn't
Yes.
count. I'm not going to get into this right now.
As the show is
Not gonna-
live from Columbia.
Yeah,
They only know this because they DoorDash.
I guess that's true.
That's not
yeah.
true.
Honestly, I lived over there
Oh, did you? How long ago was that?
a couple years ago.
Okay,
So
either
are we
way,
sure it's still open? This doesn't matter.
they called it Neighborhood
Right.
Wings by Applebee's.
That kind of sucks.
That's weird.
Why wouldn't you just call it Applebee's?
Yeah, just call it Applebee's. I'd probably be more inclined because when I hear that name, I'm like, who gets wings from Applebee's?
I guess maybe their thought on that would be like, hey, maybe this is a new restaurant that's like owned by the Applebee's franchise,
Yeah.
but may have better quality food.
But when you look up neighborhood wings by Applebee's, it's not all in the Google search, so you're just like only
Right.
seeing half of it. So you're like, oh, neighborhood wings, never heard of them.
Yeah.
Oh, let's
yeah,
go there.
that's a good point, actually.
Wow.
I can't believe that this actually has happened though with Chuck E. Cheese. Like I used to hold them at such a high standard.
Did you?
And yeah, did you not?
I mean,
who
no.
didn't love Chuck E.
No.
Cheese?
Yeah, when
as a
I
When you
was
kid?
see
5.
that band, you're like,
Okay,
I
the
never
band
wanna
is
be here
really
again.
But actually, the band is in like the back room, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, you don't really go back there.
I've
that much.
never been back there because
That's
that's
only
like
for,
for
like-
parties and
yeah,
stuff.
birthday
They only
parties.
turn it on for like parties, and
Yeah.
I never had a Chuck E. Cheese birthday party.
So they can end the party really quickly. That's why they turn it on.
I guess that's fair. Well, I think
Yeah.
I think that's a good place to end the show. Thank you all for joining us. Real quick, we're going to get everybody's third strike. This is something that we're going to do. It's called Third Strike. Like I said, it's just one statement that you want everybody to know. So, Massey, we'll start off with you. What's your third strike?
All right, I'm just going to say it.
What's up?
Dak Prescott, go get your money.
Yeah.
Go, Dak, go.
Okay.
Okay. Well, Teal, third strike.
Okay, if you're the Cowboys, save your money on Dak. Go get a generational player like Jamal Adams in a trade, whatever you have to do. Forget about that money from Dak for a mediocre quarterback and go get your guy.
Brax, third
All
strike.
right, so I'm going to go off from that.
That's fine.
Thank you.
Real quick, Coach Doug's will win the Natty and go Big Orange.
Oh, I'll end that with Coach Doug's and Columbia don't count. That's all for the Common Fan. Thank you all for listening. We'll see you next time.